Hi, everyone. Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey, and I'm glad to have you join me today. And if you are listening to the show on iTunes or Podomatic, you can also go to blogtalkradio.com/CoachDeb, and you can listen to an archive of shows going back over 7 years. So don't forget to stop by there as well. And you can listen online and share on social media. So please make sure you check that out. The blog, womenentrepreneursecrets.blogspot.com, is a blog for the show. And we have the bios of show guests there as well, and links and different articles of interest to women entrepreneurs. So please make sure you stop by there. And, if you're also someone who has articles or announcements to share, possibly any book launches or anything like that, there's a contact form there. You can request a chance to get your book out there, or if you want to share an article, reprints are also acceptable. So there's a lot of ways you can interact with the blog and share your information with the reader. So I hope you'll take advantage of that. And also my website is deboraabailey.com, where you can find out more about me and my books and blogs. So I hope you will stop by there as well and check out what I'm up to. So today we're going to welcome a returning guest. And Kelly Roche is an NFL Cheerleader and Fortune 500 executive turned $1 million marketing mentor. She helps individuals, businesses, and entrepreneurs skyrocket productivity, growth, and income. She's also the host of the top-rated Unstoppable Success Radio on iTunes and Stitcher. And Kelly focuses heavily on exercise integration, personal development, and key healthy living rituals to help her clients achieve sustainable business success, coupled with a fulfilling, freedom-based lifestyle. And our topic today is going to be very interesting: what to do when your New Year's resolution fizzles. So welcome, Kelly. I'm really glad to have you back on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Deborah. I'm excited to be back here with you.
Yes, I, really am always excited to have people stop by again and share, what they've been up to since we've talked. And, as we mentioned before the show started, the time goes by so quickly, and it feels like, well, was that just last week or 2 years ago since I got the chance to talk to a guest. So, I think this is such a perfect topic because we start out, we're so excited when the year begins, and we're just so motivated. And then, here we are in February, and then suddenly it's like, wow, was New Year just a month ago, or was it, it seems like it's even longer. And a lot of times your goals and excitement is just gone by this point, So, do you find that's the case, with a lot of the people that you work with, that they're just raring to go and get those goals out there, then something happens along the way and then it all just kind of goes?
Oh, my gosh, absolutely. I mean, we see it across the board, entrepreneurs, small business owners, executives alike. I mean, everyone starts the year fired up, passionate, and ready to make this year, quote unquote, the year. And then by the time we hit, second week of February and beyond, a lot of those goals are long forgotten. And there's really a cycle, Deborah, and that is, when you go into a new goal, there's kind of this uneducated optimism, we'll call it, about the excitement and the passion and, the energy to accomplish a goal. But then as you move forward in pursuing it, you then become an educated participant in working through achieving that goal, and you realize there's a lot that goes into it. There's a reason why, 80% of businesses fail and only 20% succeed. And so it's super important to give yourself check-ins and milestones, every few weeks as to where you are versus your goal, what you're doing to move forward towards it, and to really bring yourself back again to the big why behind that goal so that you continue to move forward throughout the year.
That's very true. That's an excellent point, because once you start to work on things and you realize sometimes they seem so big, it's so easy to say, this is what I'm going to do. And then when you start moving towards it and start thinking about all the things you have to do, it just becomes so overwhelming to think about achieving it.
Yep. And what it is, Deborah, is most people don't realize, a lot of times people think that when you achieve a big goal or a big dream, that it's one big moment. It's one grand accomplishment. It's one sweeping success that makes it's like everybody's looking for that game changer in their business. But the truth of the matter is, Deborah, is that accomplishing a big goal or a big dream comes down to getting really, really clear on the top 2 or 3 actions that's going to move you forward towards that goal, and then sticking with those things and working at them constantly and innovating and changing and tweaking your approach until you get the desired result. It's really about the small little things that you do every single day over a period of months or even years that's going to make that big goal a reality. It's not one sweeping moment or one grand accomplishment that's going to make that happen.
That's a good point, because I think that people always feel that I'll just do that one big thing, and then everything is going to work out afterwards.
Right.
You know, and when you think about the day-to-day and all the tasks that people have and things that they do normally, and then, you know, suddenly it's like, well, how do I fit these things in when I have so much that I'm doing?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
What do you recommend for that?
Well, there's a simple method that I tell everyone to use every single day to evaluate what they're doing in their business, and that is to get a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle, and on the left have profit-producing activities, and on the right have everything else. And what you'll find is, for most entrepreneurs, almost nothing is on the left side, which falls under profit-producing activities. And that's why businesses struggle and businesses don't grow. And so what I recommend there is that you follow what I call the A DoD method, and that means automate, delegate, outsource, or delete. Anything that is not a profit-producing strategic activity that's going to move your business forward and grow your bottom line needs to be treated in one of those 4 ways. It needs to be automated, it needs to be delegated, it needs to be outsourced, or it needs to be deleted altogether, so that you, the visionary and the business owner, can focus on things that are going to drive your business forward and create true traction towards your tangible outcomes and goals.
Wow, that's really great, you know, but why do you think that people get sidetracked into the things that aren't so profitable? Because I know how easy that is myself. You know, what do you think happens? You know, how do we do that? Are we just afraid to do the profitable things, you think?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. You know, it's easier said than done, and it takes work, Deborah, just to follow this model and stick with it so that you can keep your plate clear. And so the first big thing is discipline. You know, it's discipline around, you know, following this method and being sure to go the extra mile. I mean, hey, it takes work to outsource. It takes work to delegate. You have to train someone to do that. You know, that's not just a simple, you know, I'm just going to move this from here to here. So there's work involved in that. For many, they are just, you know, uncomfortable with managing others or holding others accountable or holding them to task. And, you know, that creates a lot of problems. And many times I find, Deborah, that people simply avoid the profit-producing activities because they're things that typically tend to make them uncomfortable, to be completely honest. You know, it's, you know, a lot of the things that are going to be the game changer for your business are not going to be things that come easily or naturally. And to get your business to the next level, you're going to have to do different things. You're going to have to grow into the person that can build a business of that level. And so, you know, it's pushing out of your comfort zone and saying, hey, yeah, I could sit here for the next hour and get 20 things on my to-do list done, but none of those things are going to result in my next paying client.
That's true. And I think that with the never-ending to-do list that people have, you know, it's easy to drown in all of that. And also, you know, what you mentioned about people about delegation and often people maybe not knowing how to interact with people who are going to report to them, you know, or even trusting that you can let go of some of that work. You know, I think a lot of times women run into that a lot because we feel like we have to do it all.
Yes.
So, how can we just kind of trust a little more? It's trusting ourselves and that we're going to get the right people to work with us, do you think?
Yeah, it's a couple different things. I mean, number one, it's a skill set, right? So learning how to be a leader, learning how to delegate effectively, learning how to manage others, that is a skill set that every business owner needs to develop in order to grow and profit. And so, if you limit yourself to only what you can do, that's a pretty strong limitation on your ability to grow. You're not going to be able to get very far in your business if you're only able to go as far as what you personally can produce. And so if you have a goal of building a business of substance, you need to make it a goal to try to learn those skills. So that's a big thing. And, also it's getting comfortable, like I said, with the managing and the delegating. And then the third big thing is getting comfortable with the expense of outsourcing, getting comfortable with the expense of hiring people, and realizing that, yes, initially for 30 days or 60 days, it may be an expense, but the whole point of hiring someone is to grow and to be profitable. And so you should hold yourself accountable when you're spending money to get help to spend that time that you now have freed up on profit-producing things so that you do not, in fact, get hit with an expense, and it's actually a means for growth and profit in your business instead.
That's a really good way to look at it. And I think a lot of times people don't make that leap, as you're saying, about growing. People a lot of times are focused so much on what we can do, and then we get to a point where you have to make the leap, and that's going to call for investment, or as you said, skill set and becoming, stepping into leadership, and we may not see ourselves that way. So we end up getting stuck in just kind of doing what we've always done. Yeah. So, yeah, those are really marvelous points to make. So, what about for those folks who, had those big goals a month ago and now they feel like, oh, I'm a failure because I'm already run out of steam. Is it too late?
No, it's never too late. It's never too late. And you know what, Deborah? I hear from people all the time, I'm too old. It's too many years have gone by. Too much time has been wasted. I'm never going to get there with the amount of time that I have. And the difference is between making slow progress or no progress. Right? So it's like, do you want to get there eventually or not at all? And so it's never too late. But I actually did a whole podcast episode on my show, Unstoppable Success Radio, all about how to get it done, how to really break your goals down and set up a system around your execution. Because the problem is, Deborah, is that we do a really good job of planning out what we want to achieve, but we don't do a really good job of creating a system and fitting it into our life to make sure that we can realistically execute on the plan each and every day. And that's the difference maker. And I actually put together a guide for people, if you don't mind, if I can just share how they can get that. You can text the word "get it done," just all one word, "get it done" to 44222, and that's a tool that I put together for my Unstoppable Success community, and it's all about how to take those goals, break it down, create a system, take the right steps so that you virtually put yourself in an incubator that's going to allow you to succeed versus falling into these cycles where you're excited and you have a lot of activity for 30 days and then life kind of knocks you down and you get totally taken off track and then you never get back on track again. Because the truth is, Deborah, and I know you've experienced this and I have as well, stuff happens. Yeah. Right? Like, just because you have an intention that you're going to meet this big goal doesn't mean that life freezes all around you and supports you in achieving it.
Exactly. That's very true. And I think that, when we make goals, we're not really thinking about everything else going on at the same time. We're just thinking, we're just going to take these steps.
Yeah.
And then when things do happen, then there's all this disappointment and sometimes you're beating yourself up as though you could control everything. And yeah, that's not a good way to feel at all, So I think that having a plan and the system and all those things is the only way to move forward, But, do you encounter, I guess, people who just kind of feel so resistant to doing these things and making these changes, or maybe they just lack the confidence or they don't see themselves as being able to really reach these goals, What happens when people don't really take these steps because maybe you just feel like I can't do it. I don't have what it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, some people do stay where they are and they keep doing the same things that they've always done, and that gets them the same result that they've always gotten. I mean, for all of us, no matter where you are in your business, to get to the next level, you will have to change and grow. And so if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, if you're not willing to be vulnerable and to put yourself out there in a bigger way, chances are you're going to be really disappointed with the results that you get. So, yeah, I mean, I do see people that are not comfortable putting themselves out there. And unfortunately, for those people, they're typically the ones that really don't make much progress or any progress towards achieving their goals.
Exactly. You can really get stuck in the mindset that says I can't do this, or I can't become, the person you would have to grow into, often to really be that person with maybe the bigger business. But what are some things that you've seen around like people self-sabotaging themselves who say, I want this, but then they seem to not do the things that are going to help them get there?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing, Deborah, is really being clear on the 2 or 3 things that are going to move you forward towards your goal, and putting the vast majority of your energy, focus, and time towards those things. What I see is people getting lost in being busy but just over broke. They have a to-do list 1,000 miles long, and they have things that keep them busy all day and all night, burning the midnight oil, and yet none of those things are resulting in paying clients. And so, the biggest self-sabotage I see is business owners engaging in things that seem logical or seem on the outside like they're working hard, but really they have nothing to do with what's going to get them to their goals. So the first big thing is be clear on what it is that's going to get you from point A to point B. I think the second big thing there, Deborah, is, to get support, be in a coaching program, join a community, join a mastermind, get a mentor, work with someone or get support or direction from someone who has been where you are and has now achieved what you want to achieve. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I know for me personally, it cut years off of my timeline for success. And now it helps me as a coach and as a mentor, and when I'm designing my programs, to do it in such a way that it helps people do the same, because you don't have to figure out everything for yourself.
Right.
You don't.
That's very true. And I think a lot of people go into it thinking they do, and maybe a lot of it could be because people go into it from, like the corporate world in terms of maybe having a job, and you have this, this job you're supposed to do and you're responsible for, and you're maybe not interacting with other people, you don't have mentors in that environment. And, I think people come out of that and they have the same mindset that this is how I treat my work, my business, like I treated my job, and then they're stuck because it can't be the same, mindset, and can't be the same actions that you take.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of change in how you look at yourself and how you look at what you're doing. I think to help people to get to another level as well. Because, a lot of times that's not really taken into consideration when people come out of the job, area, and just have assumptions of what they think, that they should do. Yeah. So it's kind of hard, and when you talk about people not really doing what is profitable, I'm sure you see a lot of people, on social media are doing all kinds of things, but it's like, well, is this really bringing you any money?
Yes, exactly.
So, when someone comes to you for mentoring, what are some of the first things that you will, address with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's a couple things that typically are immediate things that need to change in people's businesses. One of the first things that we do is we make sure that they have a system in place for sales and marketing. So, typically there's one of 3 things that any business that's struggling is missing. Either they don't have consistent new leads coming in, they don't have a follow-up funnel in place that's nurturing them and educating them and prepping them and getting them ready to convert, or they don't have a sales for someone in their business, whether it's them or someone else that is converting those leads into paying clients. So first things first, we want to make sure that 3-step system is in place and that's refined and working, because without that, of course, the business is going to struggle. One of the other key things that we do right away is work on raising prices. So I find that 8 or 9 out of 10 clients that come to me, we need to dramatically raise their prices, which means we have to work on how they're presenting themselves in the market, the language that they're using to describe their products and services, and how they're positioning themselves so that they can yield a higher price point. And then the third big thing is just really improving the sales and marketing A to Z in the business. You know, a lot of times the reasons why businesses aren't growing is they don't have the chops in sales and marketing. They don't have the foundation, the knowledge, the education needed to go out and build a business of substance. And so I really do a lot of training and coaching around those 2 areas as well.
Do you find that people are often just afraid to ask for the sales, or really because they have maybe a fear?
Oh my gosh, so much. I mean, so much. That is a huge thing that's standing in people's way and holding them back from achieving their goals. And the thing is you just have to realize, and I tell people this all the time, you know, like with sales especially, you know, it's either you're not going to try and you never get an opportunity or a chance, or you try and you maybe get a few no's, but then ultimately you're going to get a yes.
Right. That's true. That's true. So you have to get started and just be prepared for that and move forward. You know, as far as setting goals, you know, when someone's starting out, you know, are there goals that may be more realistic than others for someone who says, you know, I want to build this business? You know, how far ahead should they be looking?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I always tell people, Deborah, is that there needs to be a short-term action plan and there needs to be a big picture, long-term vision. And you have to have goals and action steps that are moving you forward towards both of them simultaneously at all times. You know, if you're just getting started, of course, your day-to-day goals need to be 100% around what am I doing today to get to my next client. That's it. I mean, that is what you should be doing, sales and marketing. If you are a larger scale business, a lot of what you're going to need to work on is going to be around managing your team, getting better results from your top performers, raising, you know, their skill set and impacting, you know, accountability and results from them. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, you have to set goals that are in alignment with the stage of business that you're in. And there has to be both a short-term and a long-term plan, vision, and action steps to make sure that you're not only bringing the clients that you need today, but thinking about what the future of your business is going to look like and building up towards what it is that you're trying to accomplish ultimately in 3, 5, or even 10 years.
And that makes sense. That you would have both at the same time, that, you know, and the smaller ones to really be getting you to that larger vision that you have, you know, instead of just everything just being all over the place. And, you know, I think that a lot of times the New Year's, you know, resolution is just something someone may say, well, this year I'm going to do this that I didn't do last year. And then, you know, it seems very easy to just fall down on that because it doesn't seem to have real steps behind it or, you know, or that's just the way it's presented to us, that it's just something every year we're going to have these resolutions. But I think they're very disappointing at the end of the day because we really don't, you know, as you said, put all these things in place so that we can have some success.
Yes, exactly.
And move forward. You know, so you've got some, you know, things coming up, and also please share where people can find out more about your show and the things that will be happening with you.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I'll just hit on 3 quick things really fast. The first one is, as I mentioned already, go ahead and get that Get It Done guide by texting the word Get It Done, all one word, to 44222 to really get that goal setting and achievement guide that's going to help you to accomplish your New Year's resolutions, even if you fell off track and need to begin again. That's the first thing. The second thing is you can tune in to my show, Unstoppable Success Radio, on iTunes or Stitcher. So I would love to hear from some of you. And we're live 3 days a week. We have new and different episodes that vary in format and context that are all focused on helping you build your business and accomplish your goals and become, more free in your business and personal life. And then thirdly, we have my first book is being released on February 23rd. It's called Unstoppable, and it basically gives you the playbook. It's 9 principles for unlimited success in business and in life. It's going to walk you through creating financial freedom, building a business of substance, and really accomplishing goals that are in alignment with your personal value system and living a life of legacy and impact. So more on that soon. But in the meantime, I would love anybody to text in the Get It Done guide, and then once you're a part of my community there, you'll be hearing about upcoming webinars and the podcast and of course, the book release as well.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic, because also publishing a book, writing and getting it out there is really a goal a lot of people have. And, just as you were talking about, people setting goals and really putting things behind them, a lot of people have that idea, but then when they see what's involved in actually writing the book and getting all their thoughts together and editing, a lot of people end up not exactly wanting to follow through with that, because then they realize that it is a big job to do that, and for people to achieve that and get it all together, it really takes a lot. But once you've done it, it's just such a wonderful feeling of satisfaction that, those people that hear about people writing books and getting them out there, and, I think don't be discouraged. If you really have a message to put out there and you're looking at it in such a big job, that's a good example of something that, if you break it down into steps.
Exactly.
It's much easier to do. Because that certainly can be an intimidating kind of project, I think, but, a very fulfilling one once you've actually gotten it all down.
Yeah.
So, that's an excellent example of what you can achieve if you follow it through in the right way. So, we have a few minutes, left, Kelly. So, what are some final thoughts on this topic that you'd like to, to leave with the listeners?
Yeah, I think the big thing is you deserve to have freedom. You deserve to have success. You deserve to be fulfilled in the work that you're doing. But that all falls on your shoulders as a business owner. We all have the power to shape and design our own destiny, and it's up to us to hold ourselves accountable and to, really stick to the commitments that we make to ourselves and our families to make those things come true. And the big thing that I reinforce all the time to my clients and my listeners is that any big goal, any big dream, anything of substance and really material impact in this world is going to take time. Those things don't happen overnight, and it takes on average 10,000 hours to master a new task, and so you have to be patient and be kind with yourself, in building up the skill set needed to accomplish the goals that you've set forth.
Very true. Very true. I think that's a great thing to share, because people may believe that, they see the ideas of overnight success and everything happening so fast. It's easy to get caught up in that, but you forget that, those folks out here who have achieved things, they've taken a lot of time to do that, and often they've been off doing the work quietly. They're not in the spotlight while they're getting it done, and then suddenly there they are, and some people may think, oh, it happened overnight, and it really didn't.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
It'll take some time to get it together, but it's not impossible. And as you said, you really have to, stay focused and have the vision and all that great stuff that I think, inspires people to share what they have to share, what they came here with, to put out into the world. So, I think everything you said is just really encouraging for many of us who fell down on our resolutions.
Yeah.
Want to really get out there and make 2016 a very successful year. So, Kelly, I'm so glad you came back to share everything you're doing. It really sounds great. And I can't wait to check out your podcast and your book. And, I want to thank you so much for stopping by to share this with us.
Thank you so much for having me back, Deborah. And I hope the information that we shared and the discussion was helpful for your listeners. I really appreciate you inviting me back on the show.
Yes, I'm sure it was and will be for those who, be listening and sharing with their friends. And, this is always good stuff for us to take in. And also, listeners, be sure to text 44222 to make sure you get that Get It Done guide. It's very important. It's never too late for you to get started. So please make sure that you follow through. And if you enjoyed this, as I'm sure you have, make sure to share it on social media. You can download it, embed it on your blog. Definitely let others know to listen in, and so they can learn also what they can do to build their business in a better way and more successfully. So once again, this has been Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm so glad you joined us today, and we will see you again next time. Bye-bye now.